Hey you guys. All right, so I have a dream channel message for you all. Today I was riding down the road, minding my business, and then heavily on my spirit dropped a reminder of a dream that I had a week ago. Now, if you're familiar with my readings, I'll only present dream channelings mainly if it comes out in a tarot card spread. But this one, you guys, I kind of kept on hold because I didn't know where to place this energy because it's just really dynamic energy. But today, I had Jesus on the main line and he was like, "Tell me what you want." So I was like, I need answers because right then and there at that moment, it was energy surrounding graveyards. So that's what sparked my memory in regards to that dream that I had last week. Like, what's going on with graveyards? So, y'all, listen. I had three important things that came up in the dream that I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening by way of the title. I'm sure you've seen like a party in the graveyard, right? Y'all, they turned the graveyard into a nightclub, whatever that means. All right. But I'm going to tell you three things that let me know why this actually is taking place. Number one, so I'm in the dream, right? It's like I become a fly on the wall. I become one of the characters in the dream, whatever. It's just so I can get information to be able to bring back to you, whoever needs this. So the graveyard, it's a nighttime setting, but what it looked like is if you can imagine a movie where they have like that eerie, like graveyard cemetery vibe, that scene, like with the hills and then these big old monuments of gravestones, those sort of things. That's exactly how it was in the dream. So what it let me know is, this is not no ordinary graveyard. Like it wasn't flatlands. It had hills, like the hills and then a pathway that was leading up toward the middle of this cemetery, because a cemetery to me is different from a graveyard, whereas it seems it was more historic, like it may have been graves on top of graves, like it just could been a lot of influential people that are even buried there even for like a long time. So the path that led up, mind you, there it was like going upward, like an incline, was like asphalt. So, the actual path is dark. And it was nighttime, of course, but that was significant in itself in the hills. So, listen, there was gunplay. I'm going to tell you, it's like a group of scoundrels. That's the best way I can put it. It felt like a very immature energy by way of these young men and young women. So there was gunplay. It's almost as if these scoundrels pull guns on each other like a cat and mouse, maybe chasing hide and seek throughout this cemetery, or maybe pulling a gun to see, oh, are you scared? He's scared. Look, he's scared. That kind of thing where they kind of chastise each other, but with guns. So that was the first significant thing in the dream. The second thing was there were libations, or there was like concoctions with alcohol being made. I know in particular because I was the one kind of responsible for handing like these pints of clear liquids, which was like vodka or rum or whatever, to the person who was in charge of mixing. And this person was focused. It was almost like it was like their designated position to be able to put this concoction together. Like this was their job. So I'm handing her, a bottle or two. And excuse me, y'all. I remember the energy of like a candy, like maybe a sweet and sour sort of thing. Like they would take that and incorporate it in the mixture. It also could have even been like some sort of pills or something, but that, kind of went into, I don't know, the flavoring or whatever this was, this libation, and they were being bottled up as well. I can't forget that part. That's significant. They were being bottled up in these plastic like juice containers. So I don't know if it was for resale, like they were manufacturing like this alcohol concoction, or if it was for them to kind of carry around with them, or for next time they joined together. I don't know what that was, but there was definitely a mixture being made. Now, here's a bonus before I even get to the third part. There was a reference to a toenail, like a big toe, like not the other toes, but that big toenail that came into play right around this time where this drink is mixing for me as the observer. So, with the toenail aspect, I'm like, okay, so does the toenail mean that this is going inside of the mixture, the concoction? To be able to, I guess, if this was a toenail of someone powerful, someone from the actual cemetery, it could be used that way. Or maybe the libation was to pour out to honor this person of this toenail. Or was the toenail used as a target, like someone who is, going to have something come against them by way of whatever they are doing with this liquid, this alcohol, or just period being in the graveyard, period. Like, what is that about? And I'm gonna touch on that at the end because I got some more information today about that. Now, the third reference here, you guys, has to do with a neon sign. And it was one of those like just simple neon signs that like had 4 letters. Unfortunately, I can't remember what the word was, but it had the little frame around it, but it was all like green. It was green neon. But the way it was sitting, the sign itself was like really close to the ground, almost as if it was alerting people that this is where the party is. Come inside and, you're invited to come. That's what neon signs, proclaim to do, like for marketing purposes, like this is the spot. But where it was so close to the ground, it made me feel like, okay, so the entrance happens to be underground. So it's like, literally walking into a club underground, right? In the daggum cemetery. Okay, so we got that, y'all. Here's a little more information. Now, I also referenced the fact that, if this is a nightclub, nighttime atmosphere, or whatever they're trying to turn this into, or whatever it is I'm being shown by way of the channel message, by way of taking that, the elements and creating whatever that scenario is. They are having sex in the graveyard. They are partying. They are dancing nude. It's a club, y'all. They turned it into a club. So the most seedy operation of a nightclub you can imagine that goes on, they're inside of a club. That's what's happening in this cemetery. I'm telling you. Now, let's get to the toenail, because this was information I received today. That toenail, now when I saw it in the dream state, I saw the toenail itself, but then I was shown a version of it like in a circle. Like it was like the toenail being a circle, right? So I'm thinking at that time, when I'm being shown to recall that, somebody, I feel like if the toenail is attached to someone, it's somebody who they want to keep a connection with, because I look at it as being shown that a circle, that's like infinity, that's like full circle, it's connected, right? And it gave me like wedding ring vibes. And then I'm hearing the song Jagged Edge in the back of my mind, let's get married. And then I'm going through the lyrics like, oh gosh, this sounds like this is like do or die for whoever this is. So here's what I'll leave you with. It is possible that also that toenail could be on a makeshift altar in this cemetery. So if you know about altars, while there's a club happening at night, and also this is an appointed time and place, because I also got the vibes of, this is how it is on this particular day of the week at this time of night, whatever the hour is. So this is ceremonial is also what I picked up on. Now, if you know that you've been around someone who's kind of wacky and you happen to freely clip your toenails, and they might be a roommate you don't know too much about, or maybe you feel like they're kind of giving off some funny vibes here, or, this person might be obsessed with me, but they're in your house, Possibly they are taking your nail clippings. Because that was very specific, y'all. An actual nail clipping, so I know it's something tied to that. But just the spell casting that's surrounding this nail clipping. Like, is that nail clipping on an altar inside of a cemetery? Like, what is that? So this information possibly could be very important to someone who is feeling like they've lost control of their life. And it could be possibly because of this ceremony ritual thing that's going on at the club in the cemetery. All right, y'all. I hope this helps.